Entrepreneurs, we see a need and we fill it. That's how we start businesses. Listen to my buddy Tom. Listen to this story. This guy he's running a 70-year-old company. He's the 4th generation. He takes it over. He sees a gap, a need in the business, and he starts a business just to fulfill it. Bidstreak.com. Love this story.
So, kind of like everything, 2014 is when I really started. Right. My dad wasn't officially out, but that's kind of when I took more of the leadership role. Mm-hmm. And so, my dad's an incredibly smart guy. He doesn't need the same level of organization that I need to like feel comfortable and sleep at night. And so he, for 40 years, ran this company and just kind of like just grinding. Yeah. Tell him, hey, what are we looking like in 6 months? Oh, good. Mm-hmm. But now, what are you basing that off of?
and I will say there's a lot of people watching this in businesses that words in the open mic community, we're saying, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Can some people and have some people very successfully? Yeah. Absolutely. But you're rolling the dice in some ways.
And it's a different world, I think. Yeah. The 80s and 90s, I know a lot of guys that are kind of reaching that retirement age that have run successful businesses for 30 plus years using that method. So, there's not a one size fits all solution for every business. But for me, I like to have everything written down. We do anywhere from 300 to 500 bids a year, varying in size, small to huge projects. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the bandwidth to keep all that in my head. So it started off as just a simple spreadsheet. Okay. I would assign it a bid number, job description, just the basic variables. And I did that for a couple of years through Google Drive using Google Sheets. Okay. And then, every year I'd kind of improve it a little bit. I'd be like, well, what if I added a table here and, success rates, and I kept building it. Then eventually I hit a wall and said, okay, my Excel skills, I've done everything I can with this spreadsheet, but there's more KPIs I could draw out of this if I knew how to code and do all this. So it started off very simple enough. My cousin knew a developer. Mm-hmm. We sat down and talked about the idea. He worked on it for about 6 months and advanced it. Then he kind of hit a wall. And then I brought on a second team, and they really got it mostly where it is today. And then they kind of hit their wall of what they could do and the value they could add. And then I brought on a third team that's kind of put on the finishing touches. And so it's pretty neat. It has client directories. I mean, it would be tough to even go through all the features, but the core thing is like having a dashboard with these KPIs, they're customizable for each company. But for me, I can go and see how many bids do we have in progress? How many have we closed? Right. What's kind of the month to month tally on how many bids we're submitting each month? And when you have a team of 4, for me, it's tough to kind of keep the pulse on what everybody's working on, what the status is. So that's BidStreak in itself.
That's great. So is that industry specific, or could a small business in general?
I think any company that submits bids, proposals, quotes, whatever you want to call them, and would like to track that, it obviously wouldn't work for a Burger King or a Publix or a retailer.
But like a service-based company.
Yeah. Something like Vine IT.
Yeah, like Vine IT. That is correct. That is correct.
If you're submitting bids.
Yes. That's correct.
So it's Salesforce has this. Pipe Hub. There are things that have this, but.
So you didn't invent something new.
And I didn't even intentionally like seek out to do this. I was hoping to find in 2016, I was hoping to find something that was pre-made. I looked at Salesforce. Yeah. And I was like, hell no. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin with this.
Hey, that's the challenge.
Way too many features.
Yeah. It's going to cost you $20,000 just to start to upload and implement everything you have.
Right. And most of them are like that. So I wanted something small to medium-sized businesses. There's not like a crazy onboarding. That's the other thing with some softwares.
That's it.
We're going to send somebody down from Illinois for 3 weeks and train your team.
That's Salesforce is that way. Yeah. We use ConnectWise. Right. They're that way, man. You have to get a consultant to even just,
Yep. And there's features that does that BidStreak would never be able to do, or nor do we want to do.
No, yeah.
BidStreak is meant to be, if somebody goes to our website, watches the tutorial videos, like, hey, seems pretty cool. You click on it, monthly subscription, and you're using it that same day.
Yeah, that's great.
You don't need a PhD in BidStreak.
That's beautiful,
intuitive,
Tom.
ready
That's
to go.
awesome, man. We didn't talk about this before, but we'll talk offline. We'd love to get that in the open mic community, man, because it's the simplicity of it. I mean, that's the majority of our community is our small business owners. They're not $50 to $100 million companies.
Yeah.
They're less than $1 million. Honestly, the most of them. Some of them are a little bigger, but even
and
the bigger ones.
I think that's gonna be our niche, and we have about 20 companies testing it right now, and most of them would definitely be categorized as small businesses, and a lot of them, like Polyvargo with Dabo, it's like, oh man, like this, I didn't even realize I needed this, and it's super affordable, $50 a month, unless you have multiple users. Each additional user is $10 a month. So most companies it's probably gonna be a $60, $70 a month spend, and just simple, man, keeping it simple.
Yeah.